So if you're someone who prefers to do the composition first, the hard yards before structuring and arranging your track, then you might like the piano-based workflow. So the piano-based workflow favors composition and it focuses on musical structure more so than instrumentation, than sound design and so on. And essentially what you're doing with this workflow is composing each individual part with one instrument. And that is the chord progressions, the melodies, all that kind of stuff, just with one instrument. And in most cases, a piano works best. So normally I would start with the main idea first. So I might come over here, in preparation, make a 8-bar loop, and I'll put in my main idea here. So it might be a simple chord progression. Start with the bass line. And as you can see, I'm making it incredibly simple. This isn't a class in composition. So that's our main idea, and then we might add a melody over the top. You get the idea. Then I might say, okay, that's the chorus. Over here I want a verse. Copy that out. Copy it over here. Change the chords up a bit. You can change the inversions, or you can change the chords completely. In the intro, I don't really want much at all. I just want a simple bass line, so I'm going to copy out the rhythm for that, which should be something like this. Then we move into that verse section with the chord progression and so on. And then you can say that that'll play until here, and then we have a drop where this bass line comes back in. So you get the idea. It's just about composing all this stuff first, and then after that you can add the different instruments and split it all up and start arranging it. But it is normally a linear workflow, so you would start with your main idea and then you would start working on the verse, or maybe even starting at the intro and just going from left to right, and that might work best. That's normally how I do it. And again, the best thing about this is that it allows you to focus on the fundamentally important stuff first. You don't end up tweaking synth patches or making small changes for hours on end. So, pros and cons. One thing that's good about this workflow is that it gets the hard work out of the way first. A lot of us as producers, we often shy away from composition because we're interested in the technical stuff, the EQ, the sound design. We often neglect composition, which is very important because at the end of the day, we're making music. It also allows you to focus on what's important. And I sort of already said that, but you don't end up getting distracted as much because there's less options. You've got one sound and you've got one objective in mind. It also generally leads to a harmonic and melodically coherent track. If you can make something sound good with just a piano, it's generally going to sound good musically when you add other instruments and split things up. The downsides to this workflow is that it can be very difficult, especially for someone who doesn't have theory knowledge or doesn't have an intuitive musical sense. So if you're a new producer, it might be a lot harder. That's really the only downside. Another one is that it can restrict creativity. Some people like to compose with the sounds that they're going to be using. So if you're trying to make a pluck melody with the piano, it might not work that well. Same with the bass line, and that can be another downside to it. But that's the piano-based workflow. In the next video, we're going to be looking at what's probably the most popular workflow, especially in the dance music production. seen, and that is the subtractive workflow. So I'll see you then.